Have you ever felt like your life needs a massive reset? Like you're just one bold decision away from finally becoming the person you've always wanted to be? Maybe you've told yourself things like, if I quit my job and start over, if I move to a new city, if I finally have the courage to chase that dream. And while those big, dramatic decisions can shift your path, let me share something deeper with you. Something I've learned not just from my own journey, but from working with people who've truly transformed their lives. It's not the grand gestures that create real change. It's the small ones. It's not the once-in-a-lifetime moments that shape who we become, but the quiet, repeated choices we make every single day. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that change has to be loud, visible, and revolutionary. But the truth is far more empowering. Real change starts small. Let that sink in. It starts with a 5-minute decision. It starts with waking up a little earlier. It starts with choosing water over soda, with reading one page of a book instead of scrolling on your phone. You might not notice it in the moment. You might feel like it's insignificant, like it doesn't matter. But over time, those small habits compound. And the results? They're extraordinary. They build momentum. They rewire your identity. They begin to shape not just what you do, but who you are. Imagine this. What if I told you that you could completely change the course of your life, not by overhauling everything overnight, but by simply changing 10 small habits? 10. That's it. Sounds manageable, right? Not overwhelming. Not impossible. Because that's the beauty of it. You already have everything you need to begin. You don't need a new job. You don't need more money. You don't need perfect timing. All you need is to start. Today. Right now. Wherever you are. Let's be honest, most of us are waiting. Waiting for the perfect day to begin, for motivation to strike, for the stars to align. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't rise to the level of your goals, fall to the level of your habits. And if you can raise the level of your habits, even just a little bit each day, your goals won't feel like mountains anymore. They'll become mile markers. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to feel in control again, if you're done waiting for the big break or big change, then I invite you. Start with the small. Embrace the daily. Choose consistency over intensity. And trust that your future is being built quietly, steadily, one habit at a time. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 10 most powerful small habits that have the potential to reshape your entire life. Not in theory but in practice. These are the same habits practiced by the world's most fulfilled and resilient people. And they're available to you, too. No matter your past. No matter your circumstances. No matter how many times you've tried before. Because the truth is, you don't need a miracle. You just need a moment of courage. You need 10 minutes a day. You need 10 small habits. Let's begin. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you picked up a book not to escape, but to grow? You see, we live in a world that constantly pulls at our attention. News updates, endless scrolling, clickbait articles. And yet, in the middle of all that noise, one of the simplest, most powerful tools for transformation sits quietly on your shelf. A book. Reading with purpose isn't about checking off some intellectual box. It's about intentionally feeding your mind the way you nourish your body. Because here's the truth. What you put into your mind determines what comes out in your life. Think about every time you open a book, you're stepping into someone else's life experience. You're borrowing their wisdom, their failures, their triumphs. You're gaining access to thoughts it might have taken them 20, 30, even 50 years to form. And you get it in a few pages. That's not just powerful, it's efficient. It's transformational. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I don't have time to sit down and read for an hour every day. But that's not what this is about. This is about consistency, not quantity. Even 10 or 15 minutes of reading every day, that's all it takes. Done with intention, that small habit becomes a compounding investment in your growth. It's like interest in a savings account, except instead of money, you're growing clarity, resilience, perspective. And here's something I've learned along the way. The most successful people I know, they're readers. Not because they're smarter, but because they're always learning. Now, here's the key: you have to be selective. Don't waste your time on fluff, gossip, or content that doesn't serve your path. Read what stretches your thinking. Read what challenges you to be better. Dive into biographies that reveal the grit behind greatness. Explore books on personal development that push you toward discipline and purpose. Study business strategy if that's where your dreams live. Let every page be a stepping stone toward the life you're building. Because what you read today shapes the decisions you make tomorrow. And those decisions, they shape your reality. So if you want to change your life, if you're hungry for clarity, wisdom, or just a renewed sense of direction, start with a book. Let it be your teacher, your mirror, your guide. And remember, you don't need to read a whole library. You just need to read what matters a little each day. So what will you feed your mind today? Let me ask you something. When life gets overwhelming, when your mind feels like it's running in 100 directions at once, where do you go to process it all? For most of us, the answer is nowhere. We hold it in. We push it down. We carry it quietly until it starts to weigh us down from the inside out. But what if I told you there's a simple practice that could calm the noise in your head, sharpen your clarity, and help you reconnect with your purpose? It's not a luxury. It's not complicated. And it doesn't take more than 5 minutes a day. It's called journaling. Now, don't tune out just yet. I'm not talking about keeping a diary like we did as kids. This isn't about documenting your day for the sake of it. I'm talking about using a journal as a tool for transformation. A space to unload the thoughts that swirl in your mind, to write down your goals, to track your growth, to gain clarity about what you're feeling and why. Here's the thing. When your thoughts stay trapped in your head, they can get tangled. You start overthinking, second-guessing, feeling stuck. But the moment you put pen to paper, something shifts. Suddenly, what felt overwhelming becomes understandable. What was foggy becomes clear. What felt heavy begins to lift. It's like giving your mind a breath of fresh air. Journaling is your way of saying to yourself, I hear you. I see you. Let's figure this out together. And the beauty is, you don't need to be a writer. You don't need to craft perfect sentences. You don't even need a fancy notebook. Just show up. Every day. Write whatever is on your mind, uncensored, unfiltered, unjudged. You might start by writing down a goal, or something you're grateful for. Maybe even a question that's been sitting on your heart. And over time, you'll begin to see patterns. You'll notice progress. You'll be able to look back and say, wow, I've come so far. Because journaling isn't just about release, it's about reflection. It allows you to measure how much you've grown, to celebrate small wins you might have forgotten, to recognize lessons in moments that once felt like failures. And here's something powerful to remember. If you don't document your journey, you might miss the fact that you're already evolving. So today, I invite you, find just a few minutes, open a blank page, and start writing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Your journal could become your mirror, your compass, your anchor in the chaos. Because when you make it a habit to pause, reflect, and write, you don't just empty your mind. You empower your soul. Have you ever had one of those days where you get to the end and think, what did I even do today? You were busy, emails, errands, scrolling, phone calls. But deep down, you know something was missing. That sense of direction. That feeling of purpose. And the truth is, without clear goals, even the most productive day can feel empty. Here's something I've learned the hard way. If you don't set your own direction, life will choose it for you. You'll end up drifting, responding to everyone else's needs, everyone else's schedule, while your own dreams collect dust. But there's good news. You don't need a 5-year plan or a vision board the size of your wall to feel grounded. You just need one clear goal every single day. That's it. One thing. One target that gives your mind clarity and your actions purpose. Because goals aren't just about achieving big things, they're about living with intention. They help you focus. They help you say no to distractions. They give your time and energy a clear direction. So here's a simple practice that can change your life. Every morning, before the day takes control of you, take 2 minutes. Grab a pen. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that would move me forward? Not 10 things. Not everything. Just one. It might be finishing a task you've been avoiding, or making that phone call you've been putting off, or simply taking a walk to reset your energy. Whatever it is, write it down. Make it real. Because when you write a goal, your brain takes it seriously. It starts looking for ways to make it happen. You give your mind a mission and it goes to work. But here's the secret. Vague goals lead to vague results. So don't just say, I want to be healthier or I want to get better at my job. Ask yourself, what does that look like today? Maybe it's drink 8 glasses of water or spend 20 minutes learning a new skill. Clarity turns hope into strategy. And when you do this daily, when you turn your big dreams into tiny, doable steps, you create momentum. You build confidence. You stop waiting for someday and start creating results right now. Because here's the truth. Massive transformation isn't built in a weekend, it's built in small wins, repeated every day. So don't underestimate the power of a single daily goal. That one goal can give your day meaning. That one goal can be the spark that moves your life forward. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before the noise starts, pause, breathe, write down one clear intention for the day. Do that, and you're not just living, you're leading your life. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you moved your body, not out of guilt, not because someone told you to, but simply to honor your energy, your life, your presence? You see, exercise is one of those habits that gets boxed into the category of fitness goals or body image. But I want you to see it differently today. Not as a chore, not as a punishment, but as a gift to yourself. Because moving your body isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling alive. It's about reconnecting with the part of you that says, I'm here, I'm capable, I'm strong. And nothing doesn't mean you have to hit the gym for 2 hours or do some high-intensity workout you dread. It can be as simple as a 20-minute walk around your block, stretching with the morning sun, dancing in your kitchen to your favorite song. The key is movement, not perfection, not intensity, just consistency. Because here's the deeper truth. When you move your body, you're not just shifting muscles, you're shifting your mindset. You're improving your focus, boosting your mood, breaking through the fog that often clouds your thinking. I can't tell you how many times I've been overwhelmed or stuck creatively, only to take a short walk, breathe a little deeper and come back completely reset. That's the power of physical movement on your mental clarity. And there's more. Exercise teaches you how to show up even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, even when every excuse tells you to quit. It's in those moments, resistance, the discomfort, the sweat, that you build something far more valuable than muscle. You build discipline. You build the inner strength to say, I keep my promises to myself. And that belief, that trust in yourself, it carries over into every other part of your life. Whether it's your career, your relationships, your personal goals. When you train your body to keep going, you train your spirit to do the same. So don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect routine or the perfect gym or the perfect day. Just move today, even if it's just a few minutes, because every time you move your body, you remind yourself, you're not stuck, you're in motion, you're not fragile, you're growing, you're not overwhelmed, you're taking back control. Only step, one stretch, one breath at a time. So make movement a daily habit, not because you have to, but because you get to. And when you move your body, you move your life forward with energy, clarity, and quiet confidence. Let's take a moment right now. Close your eyes just for a second and ask yourself, what am I truly grateful for today? Maybe it's something big like your health, your family, or having a roof over your head. Or maybe it's something quiet like the warmth of your morning coffee, the sound of birds outside your window, or that one friend who always checks in when you need it most. Here's the truth most people overlook. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it's a habit. And it's one of the most powerful habits you'll ever build. Because what you focus on expands. If you constantly focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what's unfair, guess what? You'll see more of it. But if you shift your focus toward what's working, what's beautiful, what's already here, you begin to experience life from a completely different perspective. Gratitude doesn't mean everything is perfect. It doesn't ignore pain or struggle. It simply says, even in the middle of the storm, there's still something worth holding on to. And that one shift in focus, that one moment of thankfulness, it can transform your entire day. Here's something I want you to consider. No matter how chaotic your life feels, there is always something to be grateful for. Always. Even if it's just the fact that you woke up today. Even if it's just a deep breath, a soft pillow, or the light pouring through your window. The moment you begin to recognize those little things, they stop feeling little, because gratitude turns the ordinary into extraordinary. And here's the beautiful part: this habit doesn't take hours. You don't need a journal full of pages, although that helps. Just start by writing down 3 things you're grateful for every morning or before you go to bed. Simple things, small moments, the smile of a stranger, the quiet strength you showed in a tough moment, the laughter you shared over dinner. Do this for a weekend. Watch what happens. Your heart softens, your mind quiets, your energy shifts. Gratitude changes you from the inside out. It roots you in the present, even when life feels uncertain. It fills you with peace, not because life is easy, but because you're choosing to see it through a lens of abundance rather than lack. So here's your challenge. Starting today, take just 2 minutes every day. Reflect, write, feel, and most important, live in gratitude. Because the more you practice it, the more you'll realize. You don't need more to feel rich. You just need to see what you already have. And that changes everything. Let me be honest with you. We live in a world that worships hustle. We celebrate the grind. We admire people who never stop, who sleep for hours a night, who wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. But here's the hard truth. Burnout is not a success story. You weren't designed to run 24/7. You're not a machine. You're a living, breathing soul. And your body, your mind, your heart, they all need something we've forgotten how to give them. Rest. Not just sleep. The sleep is crucial. I'm talking about the kind of rest that heals, that nourishes your spirit, that gives your mind space to breathe and wander and dream again. Rest is not laziness. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. It's the space between the notes in a beautiful song. It's where insight lives, where creativity returns, where clarity is born. Think about it. How often do your best ideas come to you when you're not working? In the shower, on a walk, during a quiet morning coffee. That's no coincidence. Your brain needs stillness to connect the dots, to solve the problems, to find peace in the chaos. And yet, we fill every quiet moment with noise, scrolling, notifications, background distractions. We're always on, always available, always running. But what if rest isn't a luxury? What if rest is the secret weapon? What if you performed better, created deeper, lived fuller? Not by doing more, but by pausing more. I want to challenge you to rethink how you treat rest. Not as something you earn after being productive, but as something essential you give yourself because you value your health, your mind, your soul. So what does that look like? Maybe it's a 10-minute walk outside where you leave your phone behind. Maybe it's closing your laptop and sitting in silence for a moment. Maybe it's breath work, a short nap, or saying no to one more task so you can say yes to yourself. Start building restful moments into your day and purpose. Be intentional. Disconnect to reconnect. Let your nervous system settle. Let your heart soften. Because when you rest, you come back stronger, more focused, more centered, more present. And trust me, this world doesn't need more exhausted people. It needs more awake ones, more balanced, more grounded, more alive. So today, take a break, not to escape life, but to return to it with energy, peace, and a mind that's ready for anything. Stillness is not the absence of progress, it's where your next breakthrough begins. Let me share something that changed the way I live my life. The most fulfilled people I've ever met aren't the ones who have the most, they are the ones who give the most. And no, I'm not just talking about money. Giving isn't about how much is in your bank account. It's about what's in your heart. It's about giving your time, your energy, your kindness, when it's easier not to, when nobody's watching, when there's no applause, no spotlight, and no guarantee it will come back to you. Because true giving comes with no strings attached. And that's exactly what makes it powerful. You see, we often think that when we give something away, we lose it. But the truth is, giving expands us. Every time you lift someone up, even in the smallest way, with a word of encouragement, a kind gesture, a moment of presence, you're not just helping them. You're enlarging your own capacity for joy, connection, and meaning. Giving is how we remind ourselves we're not alone. We're part of something bigger. We matter, and we make others matter too. And here's something most people miss. Giving to others begins with giving to yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't serve the world when your soul is drained. That's why self-care isn't selfish, it's foundational. Take care of your body. Protect your energy. Honor your boundaries. Because when you're full, overflowing becomes natural. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment to give. You don't need more time or more resources or a bigger platform. You can give right now. A smile to a stranger. A listening ear to a friend. A message of support to someone who's struggling. A few minutes of undivided attention in a distracted world. And maybe the most important gift of all, your presence. Giving isn't just about changing someone else's life. It's about transforming your own. Because when you live with open hands, you attract abundance. Opportunities find you. People trust you. And life, in its own way, begins to give back multiplied. So ask yourself today, how can I give? Not out of obligation, but from a place of love. Not because it's expected, but because it's who you want to be. Make giving a habit. Let it shape your days. Let it stretch your heart. Let it connect you to something deeper than success or achievement. Because in the end, it won't be what you got that defines your life. It'll be what you gave. Let's talk about something that's becoming rare in today's world. Not more productivity. Not more motivation. Not even more hustle. But something much simpler and far more powerful. The ability to truly listen. Now, I'm not just talking about hearing words. We all know how to nod our heads, say aha, and wait for our turn to talk. But deep listening, being fully present with another human being, that's a skill, a practice, a habit that can change the way you experience life. Because when you really listen, you do more than understand. You make someone feel seen. And let me tell you, feeling seen, that's one of the deepest human needs. Think about the last time someone truly listened to you. No distractions, no judgment, no rushing to fix you or respond. Just space to be heard. How did it feel? Safe, respected, valued. That's the gift you give when you practice active listening. You open a door to trust. You deepen your relationship, whether it's your partner, your child, your colleague, or a stranger. You create connection in a world where everyone is shouting to be heard. But it doesn't stop there. Listening deeply doesn't just benefit others. It transforms you. You start to pick up on the subtle things, the emotions behind the words, the truth people often can't say out loud. You begin to see the world through someone else's eyes. And with that perspective comes wisdom. Because the people who listen the most, they're often the ones who grow the most. They're not distracted by their own ego. They're not caught up in proving something. They're open to learning, to evolving, to understanding life in a richer, fuller way. So here's what I invite you to do. The next time someone speaks to you, pause. Put down your phone. Look them in the eyes. Let go of the need to respond, and just be there. Notice their tone, their body language, what they aren't saying. And when it's your turn to speak, don't rush in with advice or opinion. Just reflect, ask, stay curious. This one habit, simple, quiet, intentional, has the power to deepen every relationship you have. And the ripple effect is real. When you listen deeply, people feel safe around you. They trust you. They open up to you. And in return, you gain insight, clarity, and a heart that's more connected to the world around it. So today, ask yourself, am I truly listening, or am I just waiting to speak? Because when you choose to listen it with your ears, but with your presence, you don't just hear people, you heal them. And in the process, you become someone worth listening to. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever planted a seed and expected it to bloom overnight? Of course not. You know that real growth takes time. You water it, you protect it, you wait. But somehow, when it comes to our own lives, we forget that truth. We want instant success, instant results, instant transformation. But here's the truth no one likes to admit. Anything worth building takes time. Real success, it's not a lightning strike. It's a slow sunrise. It's a process of showing up again and again, even when you don't see progress yet. And that's where patience becomes a superpower. Because without patience, you quit too early. You give up just before the breakthrough. You walk away from something that was growing just because it hadn't blossomed yet. Think of your goals like a garden. You plant the intention. You water it with effort. You nourish it with consistency. But the roots grow long before the flower appears. So many people give up because they can't see the progress. But just because it's not visible doesn't mean it's not happening. Sometimes the biggest shifts are the quietest. Sometimes the most important things are happening beneath the surface, where your resilience is being built, your mindset is being shaped, and your foundation is being formed. So if you're feeling stuck right now, if you've been putting in the work but nothing seems to be moving, don't panic. Don't rush. Trust the process. Stay focused on the daily steps. Celebrate the small wins. Recognize that progress isn't always loud, but it's still progress. And here's something powerful to remember. You are not behind. You're right on time for your timeline. The world may try to rush you. Your own mind might whisper doubts. But true growth can't be forced. It can only be nurtured. So how do you develop the habit of patience? You slow down. You breathe. You stop measuring your life by where you should be and start appreciating where you are. You find joy in the process. You keep showing up, especially on the days when you feel like giving up. Because those days, that's where your character is forged. That's where real strength is born. So today, I invite you to lean into the slow, the steady, the sacred space between where you are and where you're going. Because if you can be patient, if you can keep moving without rushing, you won't just reach your goals, you'll become the kind of person who's ready to hold them. Let's pause and reflect on something that could quietly shape the entire trajectory of your life. Who do you spend the most time with? There's a saying that's been shared for decades. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And whether we like it or not, your environment is shaping you. It's influencing the way you think, what you believe is possible, what you strive for, and even how you speak to yourself. So here's the question you need to ask yourself honestly. Are the people around you helping you rise or holding you back? Because energy is contagious. Mindsets are contagious. And if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, small thinking, or drama, eventually that becomes your normal. But when you're around people who are growing, who are dreaming big, who challenge you to level up, who speak life into your vision even when you can't see it clearly yet, something amazing happens. You grow faster. You think bigger. You begin to believe in yourself more deeply. It's like stepping into a current that moves you forwardly. Now, I know this part isn't easy. Sometimes the people we've known the longest aren't the best fit for the person we're becoming. And it doesn't mean you stop loving them. It just means you start choosing your circle with intention. Because your future deserves that. So what should you look for in the people around you? Look for those who are honest, not harsh. Supportive, not enabling. People who call you out with love and not criticism. People who celebrate your wins, but also hold space for your losses. And while you're curating your circle, don't forget this part. Be the kind of person you want to be around. Be the encourager. Be the one who sees potential in others. Be the light, not the weight. Because great communities aren't found, they are created. And it starts with you. You don't need dozens of people. You just need a few who truly get you, who want the best for you, and who are walking their own path of growth too. So today, take inventory. Who lifts you up? Who drains you? Who makes you want to be better just by being themselves? And more importantly, who are you being for the people in your life? Because when you surround yourself with the right energy, the right people, the right conversations, your whole life begins to shift. You'll rise higher, dream bolder, and love deeper. Because you're no longer doing life alone. You're doing it with people who see your worth and remind you of it when you forget. So here we are. We've walked through 10 habits, simple, doable, honest. And maybe, as you listened, a part of you thought, can something this small really make that much of a difference? Let me tell you something I've learned through experience and through watching thousands of others transform their lives. It's never the big, dramatic changes that shape who we become. It's the little ones. The quiet, steady, consistent choices we make every single day. We tend to romanticize change. We wait for the right time, the perfect moment, the surge of motivation. But the truth? Change isn't a moment. It's a process. It's waking up and choosing to do the thing, even when it's boring. It's returning to your values, even when it feels like no one is watching. It's doing what you said you wouldn't the days you don't feel like it. And here's what makes these 10 habits powerful. They're not about perfection. They're about progress. You don't need to do them all at once. You don't need to master them overnight. Start with just one. Maybe today, you pick up a book for 10 minutes. Maybe you pause for a moment and write down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe you go for a short walk. Maybe you reach out to someone who inspires you. Or maybe you just breathe and rest intentionally. That one act in with care, done with presence, is how it all begins. Because here's the secret. Small habits, when practiced consistently, don't just add up. They multiply. They create momentum. They reshape your mindset. They realign your values. And one day not too far from now you'll look up and realize you're not who you used to be. You're clearer, stronger, more grounded, more you. And the people around you will feel it too. You'll start solving problems differently, showing up differently, living differently, not because you changed everything in a flash, but because you stayed committed to small things long enough for them to change you. That's the real power. That's the quiet kind of magic that lasts. So if you've made it this far in the video, I want to leave you with this. Don't wait for life to force a change. Become the change gently, patiently, daily. Pick one habit, one new step. Start today. Then keep going. Let the habits integrate naturally into your rhythm. No pressure. No need to be perfect. Because it's not about doing it all. It's about becoming someone who keeps showing up. And the truth is, you're already enough. These habits don't make you worthy, they help you remember that you already are. They help you align with the version of you that you've always had inside, waiting to rise. So let's walk this path together. Not in a rush, not chasing some future version of ourselves, but honoring each moment, each effort, each habit, with grace, with intention, with love. Now take a breath, feel this moment, and ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today to step toward the life I truly want? Then go do it. That's how it begins. And if this video spoke to you, share it. Let someone else know they're not alone on the path. Because change is personal, but transformation is collective. We rise together. And it starts right here, right now.